Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we look at the first episode of the 7th season of Star Wars The Clone Wars, The Bad Batch. The episode opens with a pale and haggard General Anakin standing stiffly beside a grim and determined Mace Windu. The first thing you notice is that they are too far apart. Rex and Cody approach, and for a moment Anakin's face flickers with concern, compassion. For a moment he pulls himself out of his selfishness and self-pity to, at least, attempt to care for his friend. Not to bury the lead, I enjoyed this episode. The Bad Batch is a solid platform to launch the first and final episode of the final season. It has all the elements that made the first six seasons of the Clone Wars so beloved by the fandom. It had the same rough and gritty magic that so firmly established this animated spin-off as more solid canon than the prequel trilogy in the minds of the public. It had the heart of that magic, and the creators clearly understood what made the Clone Wars so special. To wit, any of your beloved characters can and probably will die. You care about the clones, and you know criffing well that they have no plot armor. Any one of the main characters might die at any moment. Not only is that a possibility, it's a probability. The show can afford to spend episode after episode getting you attached to a clone and then have this beloved fictional friend you've made quietly shanked in the neck 2 episodes before the season finale. They can do this because there are always more clones for you to transfer your attachment to. You are presented with a team of brothers, each made individual in some way, each one you care about, and you know that some of them are going to die. This gives the show a poignancy that it would not otherwise have. You just don't know which one is going to die. This is not something they can risk on most shows. To kill a main character is too much of a value waste. A waste of an expensive CGI design, a waste of a voice actor, a waste of an actual actor. But here, there's one voice actor, and the designs are meant to be interchangeable. The viewers are meant to imprint on the characters' actions, not their appearance, and that gives the show a massive amount of creative freedom and keeps the audience in true fear for the lives of their favorite characters. But for all that, I don't think that the battles, the war Rex and company are fighting is going to be the focus of this season. This looks like it's going to be about the dying of the light, or rather the last stand of the light before it goes dormant. Because, after all, we do know what happens in the end. However, the opening scene is brilliantly staged. Anakin and Mace Windu are very specifically framed to illustrate their strained and broken relationship. They are clearly working together, but there is little to no camaraderie left between them. They are presenting the perfect united command front to the clones, or at least they are trying. In season 1, Anakin would have spent that clip smiling, quipping, pushing into Mace's personal space, trying to get a raise out of him. Mace would have been accepting of the boisterous young knight with his usual brand of gruff care and attempt to bring Anakin to heel. But now, disrespect and loathing fill the space between them. Anakin himself is pale, sickly. Gone are the warm, golden tones of season 1. His light is very literally dying, unable to pierce the darkness and warm everyone around him as it once did, but it is still there. It's a pale blue flickering thing, but in a touching moment, Anakin's face softens and his light tries to glow again. Tellingly, it is when he reaches outside of his own misery and tries to do something for Rex. There is a flicker of Anakin's legendary compassion as he tries to actively express care and love for another. But this is a wartime scene, and a battered and tired Rex refuses the extended hand of friendship. There's no time. He doesn't want to bother General Skywalker with his personal problems. He has to keep soldiering on for the greater good, and Anakin lights flickers down again. All this happened in moments in the opening scene. And then the show moves on to what's going to clearly be its meat and bones. The Bad Batch show up, that mix of ill-made clones with their strange mutations that make them so valuable and so different from the rest, and they swoop up Cody and Rex to take them on an adventure. The main plot point for the season is teased, explored, and revealed, and like most of the rest of the season, the landscapes are beautiful. The movements are smooth. The clones are walking, moving more like humans and less like CGI animation. The droids still have their clunky droid-like movements, but again, they feel more natural for lack of a better word. The tech behind this show, the CGI, has clearly advanced in the years it took to bring the 7th season to completion, and it shows. The explosions are sparkling and the foliage is lush, and the beauty of the natural world depicted is used as an excellent contrast to the graying, aging clones. It hangs over the heads of the audience that these supposed men of war are at the oldest 14 years old. They're boys, but they are gray, scarred, and wrinkled. In their short lives they have seen more death and destruction than most sentient see in 100 years. Rex and Cody take a long moment in one scene to linger over a photo capture of some of their departed brothers. Boys who may have never even made it into their teens. This sets up the main plot. And so we have our show. The brutal cost and grim reality of war forced on children who grew up too soon. Friends trying to keep each other alive even as they themselves fall apart. The story is looking like it's going to be good. The aesthetic is beautiful. The first episode skillfully sets up both the greater conflicts that the Jedi are facing and the similar and more intimate conflicts the clones face on a daily basis. And while it's hard to care about the great conflicts whose ends we've known our entire lives and we've seen depicted again and again, it becomes all too easy to care about the clones whose fates we are unsure of. There is unfortunately a doozy of an albatross hanging over the neck of this first episode in the form of that half-formed creation that was released on the internet several years ago that spoiled the major plot points and left a poorly rendered afterimage in the mind of the fandom. However, if you can ignore or forget that attempt at the episode, this episode is a solid start. It wasn't anything groundbreaking or mind-blowing. It was, however, extremely satisfying. It feels like a well-constructed base for the show to launch from, and I am looking forward to more episodes. Peace out, my